Good morning, good morning. Update. So, I am blown away. My husband's daughter, my stepdaughter, has been promoting my YouTube channel on her TikTok. And I cannot believe how many people have responded. Like, a lot. So, thank you, Brianna Nicole. And I want to throw the shout out back. Her channel's name is Breeze Lifts, and it's got a lot of Z's in it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to try and write it down, and I'll do it to where it's not mirror image. So I'll write it down so you guys can find it. It's a lot about exercise and health and homesteading and cooking and jazz like that. And if you like dynamically gorgeous, spectacular women that are trying to do all the cool things, she's a really great video to watch. Gosh, she's good looking. Holy cow, she's been working out. Woo! She fit. I'm pretty sure I'd be nice to her too, because I think she could bench press me. So I'm going to be really nice to Brianna. She just picked me up, throw me over. So, but she's so sweet, she wouldn't do that. But I tell you, Brian has another daughter, Abby. She's quiet, dynamically gorgeous, natural, easy beauty. Best mama I've ever seen. And I got really blessed with two spectacular stepdaughters. If it hadn't been for them, I would have been so alone on so many different occasions. I'm super grateful for them. Brian's mom, I got a new mama. My mama passed away a while back, and I don't actually think she was as interested in me as Nancy is, to be honest. So I'm really grateful for Nancy in a lot of ways. I got married and I got a whole new amazing family, because I was super alone in the world. I was kind of floating around all by myself. I don't talk about it a lot. Well, I don't anymore. That's what used to be all I talked about. But my mother passed away, I guess. It's been 10 years now, and it took me years to realize that it had been a year or two. It seemed like yesterday for the longest time. It just did not seem like it was a year or 2 years. But it took about 8 years for me to start really processing it. 6 years? I don't know. Forever. I took forever. Stunted emotionally, childhood trauma, blah, 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 blah. All that psychology stuff. So I had to process a lot. Complex, hard childhood. I probably won't be telling those stories very often, if ever. Refer to myself as a survivor. A warrior from childhood. I overcame hurdles. Huge hurdles. I've overcome some really personal trauma. I know I'm strong. So, I lost my mother, and then a year later, almost to the day, my grandmother. Now, I'm talking about, I was in my 40s. So I was in my mid-40s when my mother passed away, and then my grandmother didn't pass away so my grandmother lost a child. And it was, gosh, a year later, almost to the day, I lost my grandmother. Man, took the wind out of my sails. So then 6 months later, I get a phone call, and it's from my father, and my older brother had passed away. And that's complex. He is the reason I am a survivor. He is the reason that I have to find internal fortitude. Hands down, the darkest, meanest person on the planet that I've ever interacted with. So, it was very complex. There's a lot of layers to that news. When he passed away, I was relieved. I thought it was a blessing that the world and young people would never be at risk or a victim because of his existence. So I was relieved that he was gone. We don't need everybody. We've already learned that. Some people just don't serve much of a purpose. He's one of them. So that ruined my father. It destroyed his firstborn son. And then he became super depressed and leaning on me to make him feel better about his son dying. Well, you can't lose your children and function. I've already figured that out. So I haven't lost a child, but I've seen it, and I can't imagine. Don't want to imagine. I was ecstatic that he passed away. Super complex to be a support system for someone grieving when you feel like it was the right thing to happen. And I had to process a lot of anger. It was super complex. So then I lost 2 dogs, 6 months. Oh, no. So when my brother passed away, and so then 6 months later, my father decided to go get a biscuit in the middle of a hurricane, and he got blown sideways across the parking lot, and it broke his back. And he ended up having to go to the hospital, and it was too much. He passed away from that experience. It was unexpected. So then, about 6 months later, I had to put down a dog that I had adopted and taken on. And I'm not a dog person, meaning I love dogs. I love dogs more than I like people. I'm terrified of dogs. It's a complex love. It's a very complex love, right? And I had to put this dog down. Oh, it just broke my heart. And then my dog turned on me, and he was blind in one eye, a 150-pound pit bull that hated children. And he was very high maintenance, very, very, very high maintenance. So I ended up, he turned on me, and I couldn't figure it out. And anyway, I'm not sure I did the right thing, but I did what I did, and it's over. So all of that, oh, they're going to weed eat. All of that was in a 3-month time frame, right? Boom, 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 boom. Too much psychology for Jen. I don't even know why I'm going through this dark story. So anyway, now I'm a shit show is what's going on. Grief. It just swallowed me whole. Oh, maybe I was because I was talking about Brian's family. I can't remember. Ooh. Focus. So, I broke. I snapped. Nothing was going great. I wasn't okay mentally. I lost everybody. And I still have my son, and I have a younger brother. My younger brother and I, it's so strange. We were so close. I was his defender. But relationships, layers of experiences, things happen. We're estranged. He's not very close. And I thought about it. I think that when we interact, it is a memory of childhood because you're forced to face your memories sometimes when you're around people who were there when things were bad. And so I don't really know why, but I guess I came up with the decision that it was too painful to interact a lot because of all the memories. He is also a childhood survivor. He also had the same brother. And he'd probably back me up on this. So, man, I have worn this hoodie. It was brand new when I got it. When I made it. This is how much this has been loved. So, I think my brain is trying to distract me because of the content of the dialogue. So, what I'm going to do is follow my instincts and just roll with it. I ended up kind of made a really terrible... I just ended up living in Hawaii through this stupid little chain of events. I went to my son's house for Thanksgiving, and I was talking about how I had some free airline tickets that they had given me a credit for anyway, and I was like, I might go see a friend of mine in Hawaii, blah, blah, blah. And everybody at his house, all his friends were like, yeah, you gotta go, oh my God. And I was like, sure, sounds great. So I went to the Big Island by myself, and had a really hard experience. Going to Hawaii was hard all by yourself on a budget. Dumb. I got a job driving an Uber. It was a mess. I told you about Uber legs. But I actually rented a car and added it to my personal insurance, which you are not supposed to do. But I did that to drive Uber and survive and land on my feet. And I lived off-grid at the top of a lava field, off-grid. I had to learn about water catchment and solar and solitude. And it was actually really amazing. So then I had been talking to Brian. I met Brian through some friends. Chain of events, ran into each other. And he lived in Bellingham, Washington. And I lived in North Carolina. So we're about 3,000 miles apart. So we'd been talking on the phone, and flash forward a year, now I'm in Hawaii. Coincidentally, he went to Hawaii at the same time. So anyway, I called him and he's in Hawaii. I'm like, what? So anyway, I'd had a bad day. I had a soil consulting gig that I got at Manahuni Coffee. That's a whole nother video. And anyway, I called him and I said, well, he called me and anyway, he said, what's going on? And I said, everything's terrible. And I yelled at him and then I hung up on him because he was like, what the hell? And so then he called me and said, do you want to come live with me in Bellingham? I said, no, hell no. I'm a shit show. I'm a psychological mess. I will destroy your home and sanity and peace of mind. And just run away is what you need to do. And then I hung up on him again, I think. And then, so then I called him back about a day later and I was like, was that a real offer to come live at your house? He was like, yeah, it was. He's a good friend. He could tell things were not going well. He was a friend of mine. We hadn't even met face to face. We'd been talking on the phone for like a year. And he said, you want to come stay at my house in Bellingham and land on your feet? And I was like, hell no, hung up on him. Then I called him back. I said, for real? He said, yeah. And I said, okay. So then I called him back again about an hour later, and I was like, look, I'm about to not pay my rent and buy a plane ticket. Are you sure? And he's like, yeah. I was like, okay. So I bought a plane ticket, and then I bought the wrong ticket with the wrong information to the wrong place, and I had to cancel it, blah, blah, blah. So I ended up actually getting back to the mainland, and then there was a blizzard that day, of course. And so I showed up from Hawaii with a backpack full of sundresses into an ice storm and couldn't get to my stuff in storage where I had warm clothes. So I went to the Goodwill and I had like $5 that no, I had $3 when I got into town and I spent it. And then I pawned a piece of jewelry that was worth so much money for $100 because Brian offered to give me some money, but I'd just gotten there and I'd never been in his house or seen him face to face, and he's offering to let me borrow money, and I was just like, I'm not comfortable with that. I mean, I come to live in your house, but I'd like to have my own money. So I pawned that jewelry. I should have kept the jewelry. We ended up dating and getting married. I could just took all his money and it wouldn't have mattered. But anyway, I even paid him back. He ended up giving me, he paid for me to get my driver's license transferred so that I could try to do Uber in Washington because I thought I was going to try to make money doing it. And I did, and it just didn't work out. But, so he paid for my driver's license to get transferred over. And then I drove Uber to pay him back, and I ended up making black market malasadas on Facebook, and I generated enough money. I think I paid him back $200 out of the $350 or something. And then we started dating, and I guess I lost track of the debt. I was going to say something super inappropriate and crass about how I worked off the debt, but I'm sure he's watching the video. I didn't do anything to work off the debt. I got married. Now he just owes me all his money. So I guess that's how that goes. And this video's long. Jen talks a lot. Wrap it up. All right. So that's how everybody I love died. Boo! Happy little topics. And a little bit about my journey. I don't know. Wrap it up. I take it. Wrap it up. I take it. Okay.